New Nagi. He will be addressing, I think, energy, economic development.
Yeah.
Islam, you in the clock, brother?
Everybody, how y'all doing?
Good, good, good.
Good. All right, so glad to be here with everybody today. So, some of you guys may be familiar with it, you know, if you've been around the roundtable a little bit or heard me talk sometimes. And I haven't really done a whole lot of big presentations on it because I'm often caught up in, you know, doing the work on other things. But this is something that is to a point now that I think it has to be talked about because it's not really being explained to any degree by anybody. So I would, you know, there will be more coming from me on this. But I want to introduce to you guys today, if you can, or if you're not informed or whatnot, to look up a website. It's called
Let me repeat what you said to everybody.
Oh, wait a minute, all right. He said look up a website, Kesh what?
Keshe,
Keshe,
Foundation.org.
foundation.org.
And what you're going to find there is a lot of information. You know, you're going to find the about tab, the plasma tab, the education, and like manufacturing, and then they got the store and everything. All I'm talking about today is the electrical applications of the technology. And the technology we're talking about is known as plasma technology generally. All right. And it gets into a little bit of the quantum, you know, dynamics and physics and whatnot, and I'm not as well versed on that, so you guys gotta bear with me on that piece. But without getting into the meat and potatoes of what it is, what it can do for this particular application is give a very cheap means of manufacturing, producing, and sharing energy. All right. And in the most basic form that we know it and interact with it today. But think about power on Wi-Fi. All right. So I no longer, you know, in the more developed stages of when we can go with this, I no longer have to have a physical information, but we'll be talking about it more as we go forward. But this is a very revolutionary part of energy that is coming about, and I yield the floor.
All right, 2 minutes. All right, thank you. Are there any questions, any expoundments, any understanding of what this is about?
Has anybody heard of this before?
Has anybody heard of it before? No? Some,
Yes.
some parts, but not, yeah. But, all right, the question would be, how do we do the application? You know, because we want benchmarks, we want to know how far, you know, you've come in with regard to the research and making the actual application of what you've been suggesting.
Alright, so I got about halfway done with the unit, and the only reason I had to stop was through the finances, but in initial testing, like I was telling Brother Troy, and we were talking about it, and I had other electricians, come, who were professional, everyday electricians doing, stuff to come look at it, and they could not explain why I was pulling ohms from the device, and it was not, actually physically connected into anything. And my measurements were changing and varying, they were growing and whatnot, but, of course, yeah, everything kind of went dead in the water when some other things came about, but I was getting some good progress. Like I said, I was about halfway done. The biggest thing is the GANs process, and, is you gotta get into it, you'll understand there's like a quick flash way to create GANs, and then there's the longer, more drawn out process to create GANs. And I was using the more longer drawn out process to create it. I was able to, capture some of that, but I haven't really been able to apply it yet to any of the units. And, over time, the nano coding it will corrupt. You don't do anything with it. So my coils have corroded, over time. So I have to, start that process over again. But, it's not difficult, it's just a time factor. And things, but as far as getting started with it and applying it for yourselves, you guys, like I said, you can check out the website, catchyourfoundation.org. You can get on the message boards. Like I said, they've got the blueprints up there. And for the GANs, you need like copper, zinc, and iron ore to make that basic mix. And then you're gonna need some buckets and things like that. And then there's some other materials. Like I said, I'll go into it in class today. They've got the shopping list on there for like the basic units. But like I said, if you want to take the other route and you've got the finance, you can purchase a unit and then reverse engineer to figure it out that way if you want to. But I'm going the other route
All right,
right now.
can you create a budget for us? Can you, give us a budget,
I surely can.
All right, so that will be for the next meeting. We need a budget from you, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right. All right. Islam.
Now, just to be clear, is this a budget to produce one unit?
Yeah, because, we need to know what it is, and then we can do the multiple of it once we gather that information and come together and decide whether we want to or when we want to come together and do this as a collective, as a government, as taking it on as a budget, a treasury, and all this other kind of stuff. All right? Islam?
It's a capital expenditure.
Yes.
All right, I yield the floor.
All right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? All right, what have I got here?
Point of order.
Point of order.
I just wanted to say if somebody could yield the floor for 2 minutes, because I forgot to cover something on the religion, the temple / religion piece that I didn't cover. I want to take just 2 minutes.
All right.
Not too long.
All right.
I just wanted to put everybody on point, because Brother Nagi, is that we are in the Amorian territory, Susquehanna territory. We have aligned ourselves with a temple. So don't throw any bricks at me, because some.
Good.
But I want to be real clear with what's going on. So we came, and we call it Full Metal Jacket. So we about with 12 individuals who, when we show up, we come together. And which makes up more than the population of the temple without us.
Yeah.
And in that vein, we have been pressing, because we started slow, to do the civics class, how critical it was. They have taken on the civics class with Brother Isaiah L. leading the way, and we having a ball, to be honest with you. And it's very, very interesting. Obviously, well, some of the Grand Sheik there knows some things, but clearly was seemingly, who knows, who's pretending. What's the word, brother? In awe, that's good. Explain more of that to me. The point is, the temple in law has immense power. It does. It's not about getting rich. I'm so far away from that vein. But I want to encourage folk to try to align yourself with the temple and hold on to truth, de jure, truth, and press what's right. And yes, there are, some debate about things,
About non-debatables.
About non-debatables. They bring another side, but when we bring our documentation, it's interesting because it literally they shut down. Not like I don't want to talk to you, like I never looked at it that way.
No, they can't refute it.
Right.
How about that?
We're
Non-debatable.
10 seconds.
and we're making some headways. There will be an election because we don't vote. And y'all want to meditate that when this election comes, that the shifting, the official shifting in positions that need to take place in the temple. That's what I want. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. And just keep us informed, and if we can come through and give support, let's do that too.
It's mine.
All right, can we get a weekly report from you with regard to what you're doing at the temple,
Absolutely.
All right, so, that's, to be sent.
Oh, we went and we actually seen the other two parts to the temple that the Grand Sheik built, and he has clothes, food, refrigerators, grills. So we already set up something where we're going to start cleaning up the temple and then going to fundraise and start our business and school out of that. So we already talked about we're just going to do the contract and then start next Saturday.
All right,
Can I interject?
I just need that date. What's the June
This
what?
Saturday, June 17th.
June 17th?
16th.
And they
And
are.
what's the location?
It's
5248 Ricerstown Road.
Spell that, please.
Reistertowna.
There you go. Got the minute.
Can I make an interjection?
Yes, yes.
Please.
I want everyone to recognize that what's up there,
That's what we want to talk about.
and almost how every time you talk about the Moorish Divine and National Movement,
Yeah.
people do it almost apologetically, like it's separate from the temple. It's not separate from the temple.
It's long. It's long.
It ain't that other side. It ain't their religious and that's BS. We're exercising the Moorish Divine and National Movement, period.
It's long.
They have not.
It's long.
They've just been saying Drawley in name only. So this whole concept that they're doing religion and we're doing civics, that's BS.
It's long.
This movement is predominantly civic. You don't have to apologize for that. You're not introducing anything to them. You're calling their cards.
It's long.
Let's get this absolutely clear.
It's long. It's long.
It ain't of a lack of understanding, it's been a lack of doing. They've been getting away with that lack of doing because the people have not been educated. When you came into these platforms, you got educated, and they can't play you.
Right.
Let's make that clear.
They also asked the question. I'll say for the record. Can we say for the record? Are you young folk here to take over? What was your? Listen. I'm not exaggerating, brother.
She pulled me to the side and asked me,
Well, she didn't ask me. She said, "Well, she did ask me. She said, are you new Moors coming in to push us old Moors to the back?" I laughed.
Okay, and
You know
Isaiah.
what your response should have been?
Yes.
Don't ask me, ask the prophet.
Ah,
That's number one.
Absolutely.
Isaiah L, the grand sheet constantly.
Oh, yeah, he said, you want to trade hat?
So they know it's coming.
No, they're caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
Really
make it very
interesting.
clear.
Yeah.
I respect and appreciate your love and patience and dedication to the cause and to the movement. But at no point apologize. No point let them make you feel as though you're bringing something to the temple. How about this? No, what you did, you went to the temple and did this. Make no mistake.
Islam.
And they smell you coming, because all vampires do. All you gotta do is walk in the area. The other deal of it is keep this in mind. And remember what we told you when you first started getting this information. Don't we send you to the temple?
Islam.
That's part of our policy. They won't send you here though. Why? Because the game is up. People are upset because somebody showed you all the marked deck.
Yes.
They want people to come that don't recognize the marked deck and then pretend they love Prophet Nagi Ali. With all due respect, their work has shown where their education and their loyalty lies. It's been lined with J. Edgar Hoover and Calvin Coolidge. That's where their loyalty is. And they relied on that. That's what they've been running. You understand? Because they know this. This is what they know. As soon as you come with talking civics, and keep in mind, you go to the Moorish literature, go to Prophet's literature, read, how many minutes? Read the historic message to America, and you can see they don't love Prophet Nagi Ali, they are his enemy. This is also why they do not loosely move that literature around to the people, and this is why they won't bring up them old newspapers and let the people physically see the old newspapers so that people could judge the prophet's position for themselves. And you can see right in the literature, I think about the third or fourth paragraph, say, we organized. Read that.
Which one?
Yeah, in the Message to America. And look at when he organized. And he'll tell you.
Yeah, we organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925.
Now read that again louder.
We organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the
All right,
laws.
stop right there. Does that say religious organization? That 1925?
Civic.
Has he been teaching those principles since the old Canaanite temple? The attacks came, and meaning that when he registered the Moorish Holy Temple Science as a civic organization that made it official, what he was doing all the time. And then in 1925, when I showed you those corporate papers for the United States, because it crashed them.
Right.
Why do these people not bring that up? Because it becomes too obvious. Why do they get sensitive when we come around? Because we educate people. We don't try to tell them to believe anything. We even challenge them to prove us liars. And we give them documentation. But what does that do when you educate people? It's difficult to enslave people who are educated. What is the duty of the nationals and the citizens of any nation state? The duty of the nationals and citizens is this: to enforce the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, for it is the covenant that protects them from corrupt government. That's the rule. That is civics. Why have we been injured on so many levels in the Moorish Science Temple of America? Why is it that we have not had the economic development? Why do we no longer have the press? What the prophet said is our most powerful weapon. It is because we allowed the traders to take positions of power in the Moorish Science Temple of America, did not enforce caveat emptor. Now we have no paper, no schools. They've been collecting for buses for decades, no bus. And these people have been defending them. And then when someone comes around and starts telling people the real history and law, they're the first ones to attack and try to act like we're bringing something into the Moorish movement, taking over. This is the Moorish movement. Make it very clear.
Thank you.
1 minute.
Until 1928, that's when that affidavit was adopted. 1 year in the life of the prophet. And they lie on him and said that began in 1913. They're lying on him. That's the difference between those who study and are active and those who are passive and have betrayed the prophet. So the prophet Noble said, I want active Moors, not passive Moors. And if you study, you'll see exactly why. You'll see why we're in trouble today. I yield the floor.
Islam. All right, the Moorish committee, Moorish schools, elementary and college, who had that?
I think I had it. However, I'm looking for everything, all three of the documents.
All right, all right.
Seeing which email that I sent them in.
All right, the brother who was reestablishing the committee, the muftis, he's not, Brother Aaron, he's not here, and he's not available, and I apologize, I may or may not have gotten his report, I'm not sure, you know? So, the reestablishment of the muftis will have to be tabled until we can get, Brother Aaron's, input.
Quick. So with the mufti,
Yes.
because I'm supposed to be with Brother Aaron.
Oh, excuse me,
So I don't
I
wanna-
apologize.
I don't want to speak on his behalf though,
All right,
but I will say what I've been doing outside of being able to communicate with him.
all right.
You talk about the sisters being out front and leading. I'm gonna put my wife on the spot. Come up here, baby. All right. She's been really leading the charge when it comes to the military because she's just getting out.
All right.
She don't keep her mouth shut when it comes to the truth. So in the military, she has a small group that she's been really getting the word out to about nationalization, and they're going to be a part of the Mufti group. So when they come, and they plan to come to the house, bear with me in mind, but she's going to give you just a quick, maybe 30 to 1 minute of what that looks like. What's your name?
Announce your name so that everybody knows.
Sister Jamila Bay. So what I've been doing is every opportunity and chance that I get, I've been just sharing what I know from just everything that we've been studying in the military, trying to still like know how to maneuver because I was still under dealing with them, and I was EO, equal opportunity officer, so I was still trying to be like neutral, but at the same time I had to get like it was on my heart just to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I would I'm just gonna talk about one of the guys right now. He him and his wife want to come out here to Delaware. They found out that we were coming to Delaware. So he wants to nationalize. I told him don't we can sit down and go over the process and everything. I sent him the flash drive that we have. I've just been giving that out to like every property. So he has that paperwork. They've been very interested in astrology. They want to know how is what's the origins of everything? Like where are we getting this information? They have a lot of questions. I've been able to sit down with them, do some charts from what I know. I'm not on Isaiah's level yet, but I'm getting there. So they've been very interested in astrology. What else? They want to know. It's about 10 of them. It's about 10 of them. Yeah, because they're like I'm used to having a lot of soldiers, so I'll just go to each section and I'll talk to them. So it wouldn't matter if they're in my section or not. I'm just like trying to be on the table. But they've just flocked to me. And Dominic, through the years I've been in the military, he would come up there, and 2 months probably, 2 months from now, well, previously 2 months, you came up and you talked with them, and they all kind of gathered around, and they were, asking you lots of questions and stuff. So we've been kind of working together as a couple, because that's what we did in the circle,
Right.
like doing some counseling. So we're just doing the same thing
Yeah.
on this side. So that's what, I'm excited about.
I am too.
So,
Can I make an interjection with that too? And I want
4
everyone
minutes.
to observe this.
4 minutes.
I want everyone to observe this. Now notice how she's sharing, but even with some people that look at a spirit of disconnect, so Obama had to come out and tell you the oldest treaty is a treaty with what? Treaty of peace and friendship with Morocco and the United States, which of course is a tributary of the British Empire. What you're doing is supposed to be done as a rule. And how many of you would look at it, is it bringing that Moorish stuff in here?
right,
That-
yeah.
That flag, that continental flag, and the stars and stripes was supposed to be on that base. The reason it's not is because of the de facto activity. I just want to interject that so that no one can ever make you feel as though you're doing something out of place.
Right, and
You're setting order.
yes, and I love that. I feel like that.
You
I'm
know
like,
it,
yes.
that you are.
And it's like, I don't care, like, it's been, even the ones above in certain ranks and stuff, it's like, I will, excuse me, I'm talking to, you know what I mean? So
Because they already know, because
yeah.
they were supposed to be
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
They were. And how many people never dawned on them that that's supposed to be taking
Right, and
place?
I have a doula's books, I'll show them a doula's book. One guy was like, I knew something was wrong. He's like, I know something. They're just like waking up on their own, and we're talking about everything. I'm like, everything I know, I'm just spilling it out. And I told him, I'm like, this is not the flag, this is not the American flag. I said, I'm talking about it, I don't care, all that stuff. So I'm telling him about the flag, I'm talking about this Morocco, I'm talking about the nationality. So I'm
Well,
spilling
it's
it.
like true. And you can back it up with documentation.
Right, which I've been, I feel like a new agent. I'm just,
Hey,
and
question.
I'm showing them,
Question
the flash
from
drive.
somebody who don't know. What's that got to do with belief?
I have a question from.
Right.
Okay.
Not a
Yeah,
thing.
that's facts.
We got a
Sorry.
We got a question from
Go ahead.
Nagi.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just a quick question, and I don't know how many have found it because I didn't know about it. But in September 12, 2012, there was a letter from the Department of State to, I believe, the executive director of the Uniform Law Commission in Chicago. And it's generally a letter without reading it directly. There's one paragraph I just wanted to read and then just talk about a little bit. It says the consular notification and access rules codified in Article 36 of the Vienna Convention have been the law of the land for over 40 years. When the United States ratified the Vienna Convention, they are obligations with which federal, state, and local government authorities must comply. In this regard, the Vienna Convention and the consular notification and the access rules found in many of our bilateral consular conventions are rather exceptional in that it is often not the federal government but individual law enforcement officers in state and local jurisdictions across the country who are implementing these rules in actual cases every day. So I say that to say, congrats and honors to you, sister, for being on the front line. And I was having conversations with other, people from the military, and there's parts of classes I haven't put out yet, but he mentioned the fact that if you're in active duty, you're in the war zone, that you have the 3 or 4 S's, which is like shout, show,
Okay.
shove, and shoot.
Yeah.
And he mentioned how, these basic consular understandings are understood when you're on the battlefield in a foreign country.
Right.
But when we come back home, all of that escapes us. So I just want to give you high honors for making that connection for people.
Thank you.
Truly on the front line, so,
Thank you.
We'll put it up on the site later.
Thank you. And it was really hard even to leave because I felt like I was leaving them behind. So I was battling with that because I felt like every month I got a chance to see them and talk to them, and it's just like, they're like, no, Sonia, you're leaving. And it's like, so it was like, really hard because I didn't know, like, I had to make sure I'm in a place where I can continue to build the bridge over here.
Yes. All right, it's on.
Um,
It's on. Thank you.
get them, teach them as much as we can, and also implement the skills that they have from the military, having those skills so that we can better our community in the muftis.
Yes.
And we have them in a group that will be sending them
Yes.
emails out.
So it's kind of pouring into outreach. It's outreach of other committees, basically.
Yeah.
Should I wait until that to finish this?
Cause like we sort of folded over a lot of stuff, and
Right.
I don't have, I had some of Renee's notes, but I forgot, how we
Okay.
folded over some of the committees,
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
I yield to whatever you want to do.
Outreach.
Yeah, go ahead, outreach.
Okay.
All right,
How many
outreach.
minutes?
Give me 8.
Okay, 8. Might even
I
be
got some
short.
notes here, by the way.
You got the notes too?
Yeah.
I think he did the law committee last Civic, that was joined, and the housing and treasury was joined.
Wait a minute, the housing and
Housing and treasury were put together,
treasury.
That's right.
were-
and then the law committee and civics.
Law and civics were combined.
Yeah.
All right.
So I moved before some law committee, I think.
And the Mufti,
I don't have it written down, but I'm thinking that it would have to naturally.
law, civics, and the Muftis.
Yeah. It was Brother Aaron and Brother Dominic.
All right. So you need to take your 8 minutes.
Okay. All right, so basically, in the Baltimore territory, we've been in contact, I would say, we have, I would say, approximately, I don't have the complete numbers, but between 20 to 30 nationals in the area. So sporadically, we have classes, and then you'll have maybe 10 here or 15 there when we have a big group or a big event. So the goal is to make sure that we can reach them all. So the outreach to outreach so that we can be able to reach them. And one way we thought of that is actually starting a van ministry. We kind of do it anyway. When we need to come here, we all put our finances together. Sometimes we rent a van and we come out. So the goal is to actually get a van that belongs to us.
That's transportation too, then that goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that goes with transportation. So you're doing transportation
Okay.
too, all right?
Okay.
Dominic,
Yes, sir.
is there any way that we can appropriate the funds already collected for them vans for the last 50 years?
That's what they told us, what they told Troy and Isaiah. We've been saving for the van.
What
It's
was
been
it?
10 years, there's no van. And guess what we do in a matter of a week or two? We come in with a van and we come packed and loaded with people. So that was a slap in their face. So what we want to do is not depend on them to get us a van. We want to get our own, use our own resources, pull them together, get our own van.
Shit, we should have a brand new van.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking like a budget of between 5,000 to 10,000, and it's just a rough estimate. And whatever we can find, we can research, and then we do like fundraisers, donations, do, whatever we need to do. Food, sell food, whatever we can do to hit that mark. I haven't did a timeline yet to set a date to say, okay, this date we're going to get it. If we accumulate this much funds, we'll get it on this date. But that's soon to come. Yes, sir.
Just remember, in our territory, they don't have, but every week there's an auction. So when we get the money, we go into, we
Go to that money.
That's not money, God forgive me. Allah forgive me. Great all forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? And we also play a hard game called communication. So if you speak wrong, you get smacked. So I'm getting something when we get out of here. But we just want to say that there is an auction, and he's not just blowing smoke. And we're going to do it. Just a little support, a little meditation. And we're going to leave by go down.
Yeah. So another thing we want to do is it's a couple of events that I'm thinking of, coming up and organizing National Awakening Day, where we can go out into the community, set up an event, have literature there. They can come. The children can come. We all put on our many talents. Talents here, talents there. We all bring them together and make it a success so that we can teach our people who they are and what they need to be doing. Doing like clothing drives is one thing. Being connected to the temple, the vision is more clear now because there's a platform. And I understand why you always point us in the direction of the temple. Because I would be the person to say, why would we go to the temple? They infiltrated. Well, because it belongs to you.
Yes,
Because they've been saying it since we got there. I've been stoning them. You know, we don't need to go to the temple. What you mean? But he always had the vision. He's a great visionary. So with the outreach, and I have 4 minutes for that. With this whole outreach, once we start to get the clothing drives, get the community cleanups and the National Awakening Day, we can bring them to the temple so that they can be taught things like meditation, you know, principles, astrology, agriculture, all those things that we should have been learning from when we were young, youth. And by the way, I'm trying to, another idea, I don't like to put stuff out there if I'm not actually in, but I'm just going to do it anyway. For the youth, I plan on using them to be working, the little ones, you know, like little mama back there, you know, so that they can feel a part already.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing that's going to be in the making. We're going to do retention, making sure we're reaching out to our nationals. Not just saying, oh, you nationalized and you got everything you need, so now you're good. Make sure we always touching them, just like they did in the circle.
That's right.
You know, same principles, but with truth. And then the last thing, Isaiah had a great idea where we, in outreach, as we bring people in, there are different levels of degrees of knowledge. So we can have a beginner's class, which could be taught by Jamila Bay. Intermediate class could be taught by me, and an advanced class could be taught by Troy. You didn't know, but I'm telling you now. It's all right. And that's pretty much it. And we have basically 10 new prospects, so we're judging where they're going to be, and Jan's doing a great job with them, and we plan on keeping them moving. So,
Islam.
I have one question. In terms of the vans or the vehicles that we might be getting or acquiring, are we going to put it in a trust to protect it from, you know, the wolves, the vampires, you know?
Absolutely.
Are we going to, you know, we gotta be mindful of doing this so that, and then this other brother from North Carolina, he had devised a license plate, but I don't have the paperwork, and I can't get in contact with him today. He didn't, you know, I tried to get in contact with him today so he could be a part of it, but he was not here. And at this point, I yield the floor.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
I have a question.
You gotta keep this in mind. Everything that we purchase, gotta be in trust.
Absolutely.
And you gotta put a lien against it. That keeps them from taking it. If they do, they gotta pay you. Okay? Everything we do has to be in trust.
That's right.
Okay? We gotta keep that conscious.
Nagi has a question.
Islam.
Islam.
And we, to the point about the trust, we were going to be making some updates to the site so that everybody can have access to the templates and whatnot.
Okay.
I'll, you know, confer with Tyrus to get the details on that, but yeah, we're going to have that out there. And keep in mind, we already have it in place to be able to seal the documents and all of that, you know, set up to the website.
Okay.
So, you know, don't forget that. Now, the other thing, too, is that I heard that you were going to be employing children at some point. Please be aware of the child labor laws, the timing with that. There's only so long you can have them out there doing stuff before somebody, you know, somebody wants to intrude the officer or somebody else.
Okay.
We'll make it fun,
That's just
like a game.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. I appreciate the feedback. Absolutely.
I think Brother Taj.
Definitely noted.
Brother Taj?
Oh, that's exactly the roundtable. We had orientation, then we had intermediary, then we had adults. The same principle. The point that I wanted to make is when people are using common sense, structure is harmonized with common sense. Anybody that figure this stuff out, they'll do it themselves. I just want to make that point because that's how the roundtable is structured.
But the child labor thing, just make it as a game. I mean, look, cell phones, they got that. But
And
they
it's
can't
not
do
just
this,
that,
you know?
keep in mind that them children don't belong to them.
Islam.
And you don't abuse the children.
Right.
They have been doing it.
Yes.
So don't let them even imply that crap.
Islam.
Because them labor laws that, even though we don't do that the way they do, don't even daggone apply to nationals or the land. That stuff applies to their corporate That's their corporate stock. And they do that as a front, because they not only abuse them children, they eat them.
Yeah.
So they can just come up with that stuff.
Islam.
We got,
Telling you what to do with your babies.
Well, I have one more point. Establish unto thyself principles of action. All right, so we're going to be teaching our children love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice from the gate, so that, will be no problem with regard to how we're going to treat our children from the gate. All right, Islam, I yield the floor. I think Brother Troy got something to say.
Actually, I yielded to the senator from the.
So, also, along with the outreach, we've been doing the tribal trust, and we've been getting our meetings every Thursday, and we've been growing in our trust, our tribe, and so it goes along with the outreach committee. So when we bring our everything for our assets and everything into the trust, we already have that secured.
Love it.
All right, any more questions?
Islam, so I think that the van is a wonderful idea, but since you guys said there's a lot of people that you've been speaking with already, maybe we also could look into seeing how much the used old school buses are, maybe we can even get one maybe donated since it's religious affidavit-ish, you know what I mean? Only because if there's that many people, a van is awesome, but everybody's gonna wanna come.
right, yeah.
So, maybe you can get 2 buses for the price of, the one new van or something.
Yes, absolutely, that's great, that is great, and that's actually the goal too, we want 2 buses. But that's beautiful, I never thought of donations, that's a great idea.
Anybody mechanic in here? Anybody mechanic? Work on cars? Be careful buying this stuff, okay?
Okay,
We need a mechanic, because if you
Yeah.
buy something like that, prepare for repairs.
okay.
You're a mechanic too?
So if there's any more questions, then.
I want to interject in support of yourself and persist. The prophet said, I'm gonna leave the European here long enough to teach you government. Now, that's the prophet's words. What do you think that European gonna be teaching you except civics?
Yep.
The science that treats of government. That's another affirmation to the treachery that has been going on with people that keep telling these people that this is a religious organization predicated on that certificate, that affidavit, that 1-year affidavit of the whole entire movement. I'm just saying, and the deal of it is when you all walk in there, their discomfort is that they know you're not asleep.
That's right.
That's one. Their uneasiness is whenever something comes out your mouth, it's going to teach somebody. The third level is they got to answer to these people who are going to ask them questions when you all leave. Why didn't you tell us this? That's really what it is. So I'm just putting it like it is. But as a reminder, everyone, Duale says, I'm gonna keep this European here long enough to teach you government. So what you're gonna have to learn about your Imperial Divan, about the Reverend Sexton, and everything that everybody's been holding back from you. That's what, so that we can be effective. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need to learn what the wheel was. And even Obama helped to do his part. He did his part. That's in support of what you're saying. That's in support of you, so that no one can make you even feel like you're remotely out of place. You're on top of the game. They just didn't expect anybody to be waking up. That's all.
I got your windows up, it's raining.
I just want to throw that at you.
And then
To encourage
2
you.
seconds.
No, you can take another 5 minutes.
Okay. I would be, I think the word is remiss if I did not acknowledge the ladies who we've been working closely with. They have been, amazing. Just keeping us structured. We're walking here with an idea.
That's what they
If
do.
they don't keep it organized, it's gonna fall apart.
That's what they do.
So the ladies have been great, taking notes.
The Moabites.
Moabites has been great, so just wanted to give them a shout out. And I yield the floor, I have nothing.
Yeah,
Well,
another name they call the more white women is
What we
Moorish.
call them up there?
Yeah.
Remember, you can say Moorish.
Yeah, please, we want to acknowledge these
Yes,
folks.
because Mother Yael,
Yeah, Mother Yael, please stand.
she does a lot
Mother
of
Yael.
actually, if I didn't have her helping me with the minutes, with getting the meetings in order, the dates, the times, the locations, getting the people together, sending the group text, the email, she uploaded a folder on the Google Drive so everybody can access it. So she has put in a lot of work, and I always call her Sheekus. And so she actually she inspires me, you know, to keep going on. And she don't know, I never tell her.
Tell her.
I tell her, but she actually put in a lot of work, and I really want to say thank you and I appreciate you just like everybody else. Also another brain.
And that's why it works anyway.
Okay, so
Yes.
the two now. Okay, so that's what I wanted to just highlight these two right here. They've been really
All right.
brainiacs, and Sister Mother Yael has been really on top
I
of it.
just
All right,
don't-
right on.
Yeah. All right.
You said what's coming? Mother Tanya. She don't know it yet, but when it comes to real estate, she has experience in that, and I'm gonna learn everything I can from her, and hopefully she'll extend to teach. She's been great. She's been in the movement longer than me, and she knows a lot more than she gives herself credit for, and I appreciate her. I just wanted to give her a shout out for sure. All right. And then the last- you got it? Okay, all right.
Point of order.
Point of order.
The Amorian tribe wants to recognize something. When y'all see what's going on, I'm not waving a flag, but the point of order is on finance.
Yes.
And I want to introduce and give the floor to, if you could just grace it just for a few moments, Brother Osiris L. We meet every Wednesday because we can't just do it. So we have somebody that's doing it.
Yeah.
Incredibly competent, capable, has his own computer repair business and beyond, and virtually generating private commercial paper using resources via the internet and the whole bit. So we're literally, we're taking classes with him leading the way at least once a week, every Wednesday, and then we in a group meeting. So almost every day of the week we got something going on, just about. And can you please take a couple minutes and explain to the body what's going on?
Sure. It's Mom.
So you're taking over the finance, right? Is that the
Yes, so.
Come on, rock out, Osiris.
I'll be brief, very brief. So basically what we're doing in a nutshell is Wednesdays, we are going through a training. And I have several trainings I've collected regarding online sales, online marketing, and basically how to get the fiat the way it's done online, which kind of saves you time, makes it more efficient, and gives us an opportunity to, you know, a lot of us or individuals who see this information, they'll take it and they'll be generating a six-figure income on a monthly basis that can be converted into, you know, our silver and other resources as well. So I think it's just better information on sales, marketing, how to even do what you're doing now better. If you already have a business, how to get more clients, how to look at, hey, you know, how to target more folks, how to maximize your fiat so that you can multiply it and things like that. So I have tons of information. If anybody wants training, be careful you ask for it, because I have it.
Yeah.
Videos, audios, ebooks on subjects like copy, how to write ads, how to do advertising, how to do websites, search engine optimization, how to launch your own WordPress. Basically everything with the online stuff, I have collections that I give freely to people that want it. So it's just a matter of saying, hey, I want it. And be careful when you say that though. But I will try to give it to you in part so it's not too much to digest. I mean, we're starting with the basics, and we're actually delving into a course called high ticket drop shipping, which talks about you don't have to hold any inventory, you don't have to manufacture it, you basically piggyback off of something that's already there, and you're just the middleman. You know, you create the marketing, right? And we're looking at higher ticket items so that instead of you needing 1,000 clients a month, we can manage it better with maybe 10 to 20 high ticket sales. and, you know, deal with it professionally. So that way you have more time to do the things you want to do, and can, instead of spending 40 hours a week to make, let's say, 500, you know, credit in fiat or whatever, you can do that in maybe 4 to 10 hours of work that whole week. Now you got that 30 to 40 hours that you're commuting and doing all the other stuff that you can put to your studies and building and generating and just bettering yourself. So I'm all about that. So anybody want tips, let us know. And we do have the class on Wednesday. We're kind of halfway through the current training, but we're gonna probably start a new one after that and just have different opportunities, and probably even set up an online database where individuals can pull some of these trainings down and do their own self-study. So nobody's gonna stop you if you got time and you got a lot of time in your hands. Generally, the key on, I'll just mention this online, is you're either gonna utilize expense or excessive time or the fiat. If you don't have the fiat, but you got the time, you can get something done. And if you don't have the time and you have the fiat, you can outsource and get it done. So no matter what your position is, you can do something if you have that time to convert it, you know. And if you got idle time where you don't know what to do, I'll give you some stuff to do. You won't have no idle time at all. But anyway, that's my piece.
All right, do I hear a motion for Brother Osiris to become chairman of the Finance Committee?
I second.
Wait.
The finance needs to be.
You desire. You have to desire.
Yeah, he does, go ahead.
Almost definitely. In addition, the technology piece actually does go hand in hand with it.
Yes.
There's a lot of online like softwares, then a lot of the shortcuts are these little unknown websites and programs that will support your business, where you don't need to really know anything. Like Fiverr is one. You can hire someone on Fiverr for as low as $5, and they will basically do a lot of stuff. Whether it's converting, you can have a book and you want to convert it to audio, they'll do that. $5, $10. You have the other way around, they'll do that for you. You have somebody's logo, boom, go on Fiverr, spend the $5, and you'll maximize. And in fact, I'll throw this quick tidbit. You can set up your own company based on a service on Fiverr, where you are basically marketing as the person that does the work and that has this thing. Meanwhile, Fiverr, you know, people are doing everything. So while you're spending maybe $5, $10, $20, you're upselling and upmarketing that to like 100, 200. I've even seen 500. So again, just in that, and there's a lot of information on YouTube I can direct you if you're like, oh, what are you talking about? So it's real simple and straightforward. If you can follow directions, if you can read and follow directions, like, you're good. If you can't do those things, we can probably teach how to do that thing. Might be good.
All right.
Thank you.
There is a motion on the floor, though. There is a motion on the floor.
I second.
Wait a minute, you got.
I hear you.
I make the motion that Brother Osiris L become our finance minister. All in favor? Oh, wait, let me ask. Do you want that position? Do you desire to do that?
Sure, definitely.
All
I
right.
enjoy it.
What he does.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
We.
It has been moved and seconded
And thirdly.
that Brother Osiris.
The relationship existed for almost a decade. It's just funny how it works. You come into the information. I'm just excited about
You
it.
just get sincere people, they'll draw
That's all it
sincere
is.
people.
Sincere people.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, let's see what else we have
You're
here.
right.
We have, let's see,
I'm ready if you are.
you ready? All right, the Brother Hassan and education committee?
It's 3 pieces.
Yeah.
It was the, that,
With his support staff,
the,
his support staff,
that, and the, finance as well.
Oh, right. Well, you know, throw your piece in there. All right. then. So,
I got it's 3 of them, all in one. You right?
all right. Yes. We'd like you to come up here. So,
How many minutes you need?
I'm
how many minutes you need?
Honestly, they were emails already sent out to most of you. And I'll just kind of just go over, I'll just read them. So maybe, I guess 2 minutes an email?
Well, come on.
Maybe.
Yeah.
put your sneaks on.
Okay.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
What do you moonwalk then?
I just gotta plug this in. And then
Oh, full stand if you need to put your stuff on there.
okay, I'll do that. Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate you. All right, hold on. I'm almost ready. And I swear I won't take up a lot of time. All right, this was sent out on the 20th of Islam first, everyone.
Islam.
I wanted to say this was sent out on the 20th. and my apologies if I sound like I'm all over the place.
It's all good.
I'm writing another book too as well. And I just want to try to find this, and I thought I lost it. But I was about to ask one of you guys to send it to me if I couldn't, but I found it now. Okay. This was sent out on the 20th. Mostly everyone has this email, and I'll start with the first one. The first one, it says, all right. Okay, I'm ready. Peace and greetings, beloved Moabites. This will be the first correspondence, but it says second here. You are receiving today pertains to a meeting room that I have at my disposal to continue, and this is, an idea from Mother Aria, like quote unquote, just throwing it out there, you guys can agree, or just consider it. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Astrologics University, energy being conduit, I guess, through me from my main course. To you all, her posterity, my mothers and my brothers, presented being the Astrology 101 workshop continuation, because a lot of people were asking about it, for 50 notes to secure the venue. So my idea with this was, the people wanted just 50 notes for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, that's 167 approximately per sincere student. So that's what it would take at the end of the day to do that. But however, I would have, for anyone that wanted to participate for that building for that purpose, I would have came out of my pocket personally. But if anybody came to the door and wanted to donate, it would have just been at least 1 note for 67 cents. Mm-hmm. All right. So venue for 4 hours, limited to 30 sentient beings, capacity per the fire marshal requirements. Yes, only 50 notes for 4 hours. However, my point of contact, and I'm going to give you guys that, you guys already have that and have had it for the past 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. If you had time to research it or get in contact with these people, that's great. If not, that's fine. Express that if more time, say we need 4 more hours, say we wanted 8 hours and do a whole school day. I asked her, I was like, could I use 100 notes then? Because that way I can do 100 notes and have, a spot for 30 people, and it's enough space to, actually learn. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's an actual school.
Yeah, well, that's the meeting room. The actual school is the second email. All right. So let's say 4 more hours is needed to put it in personal writing pertaining to the initial time and time extension, because there's a board there for the community association. It's a condo community. I've been domiciled there for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now the condo community association, all they want is notice and intent. Mm-hmm. And not too many people are using it. However, I know that we can get on Saturdays if that's cool for everyone, and it would be a place that, like I said, at least 167 per, more. And Mother Aria has offered to do the cooking for everyone to eat. So, and that's just, like I said, just to put it out there. Okay, so to continue in the email, this will be sent to and considered by the Community Association board members. That's Cold Spring Community Association, CCA online. If you guys want to check it out, Cold Spring Community Association, Cold Spring Community Association. Which I actively participate sometimes at the board meetings when I'm not traveling. This is available due to the fact that I'm domiciled there, so it's 50 notes of them there. People that probably get that spot outside of there would have to put like $550 a security deposit and then another $500. So by me being domiciled there for 20 years, it's like, they're just like, look, 50 notes 4 hours. Okay. Yeah. The point of contact, are we ready? Mm-hmm. Yes. All righty. The website is https://2/. That's, // it's www.coldspringnewtown. That's COLDSPRINGNEWTOWN.com/contact. Consuela Dickens. First part of appellation is CONSUELA. That's CONSUELA. Consuela. Right. Dickens is the last part. And the one who supersedes her jurisdiction is Charlene, CHARLENE, Pindell, PINDELL. Their office hours, as you can see there, but I'll put in the email Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The location is 4800 Tamarind, like, what grows on trees, Tamarind Road, that's near the City of Baltimore Corporation, Maryland, State Republic, for what it's worth.
21215.
09, that's near the corporate jurisdiction that they call Mount Washington. Okay? The phone number, that's my 2 minutes, that's my 2 minutes on that one? That's great. Phone numbers is 410-664-6341, that's the phone number. And the fax is 410-664-6091. All right? Ready for the second one, Brother Dominic?
Yes, sir.
All right, and once again, like I said, you guys got these emails back to back to back on the 20th. All right, the second one, peaceful greetings, my beloved Moabites. The second correspondence pertains to the surplus school. Okay, well, for those that don't know, just very briefly, surplus schools are schools that they've shut down, but they're still available. Okay? By speaking with Consular about my intentions with the 30 people in that small spot, it was easy to get into a conversation because, you know, we came to those that know law and spoke intelligently. Alrighty, and she was able to give me a point of contact for the surplus school, particularly that's right in the same area where I am, okay, where I am domiciled. It's been used for the Baltimore Youth Initiative, BYI. You guys can research what they've done at this location. It's funny because the name of the building is called Mercantile.
Isn't that interesting?
It's listed in the surplus schools list as Mercantile. I thought that was very interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just read this and I'll give you guys all the info on that and point of contact, okay? Because that deals with actually the Department of Housing and Community Development land resources on Fayette Street for those that are near the Baltimore Corporation, all right? So here goes the email. The second correspondence pertains to the surplus schools. Surplus schools are schools no longer, in public use / closed, that is structured at the same community association location, juxtaposed, which is just next to you, mentioned in a previous correspondence that I just, aforementioned. I have seen and volunteered for many different school and community events held at the Mercantile structure. The Waldorf School of Baltimore, that's another one, if you don't know, it's a private school that used to use this one Mercantile building, okay? Which is a Montessori-based school, sort of, and kind of more haptic learning where the parents are the ones that are there teaching the children. And they're doing it off of actual, instead of just the books after the cognition, salt is, sodium and chlorine, and then they're actually taking sodium and chlorine and putting it together in the lab, and that's how they're teaching their children at Waldorf. All right, so that's the energy that has already taken place in that building. That's 2 minutes that quick?
Sure.
My apologies.
Throw another minute on here.
Okay, my apologies, and I'll get through it real quick. So that's the Baltimore Youth Initiative is another one that's been there as well. Those are two entities governed by natural sentient beings. Previously used this location for tuition-based private education curriculums and Montessori-based private education curriculum. Although, hearsay is inadmissible in court, I have been informed that the Mercantile structure needs some repairs. Now, I'm an HVAC technician by trade, for those that may know, with some commercial experience, so I've already, put my mindset in, okay, so what could it possibly be as far as that? The biggest thing I was thinking was asbestos, if that's the case. So that was the bit, it would have to get searched, so we would have to do that type of test anyway, to check the air quality. However, they said, so I volunteered, like I said, my HVAC services in lieu of renovating the Mercantile structure after physical viewing and evaluation by true and faithful Moors sincerely devoted to bringing our necessary institutions to fruition and perpetual maintenance. So shout out to you again. You already said you got to prepare for the repair, Brother James, so that's always in mind. Below are the links pertaining to the aforementioned land resources. So for those of you that already have it, if I don't have emails to those that are already connected to you, we're just going to make sure, notice to principal who you would be in this would be sending it downhill to, the national agency that are those that, you're sending your information to. Okay? All right, so there's 4 websites, so I won't do those 4 websites, but if you can, those that have it, please forward it for those that are interested. Like, I know you may have it, but y'all may not. So that you guys can get it from, Brother Isaiah and Brother Troy and Brother Dominic, and I think Mother Tanya as well, if I think that's in the email, okay? So those are those 4 points there. I received the contact from Mother Consuela Dickens and the contact for the Mercantile building. Are we ready? Christine Nutil. Christine, CHRISTINE. Yeah, Nutil, you've heard that before? Yeah. That's what I thought. I thought it wasn't like a odd, but, always in government kind of, surname. Okay, Nutil, Nutile. That is the Community Marketing Outreach Officer. So there's that outreach information, energy. For the Department of Housing and Community Development, Land Resources. Their location, 417 East Fayette, F-A-Y-E-T-T-E Street, 10th floor, Baltimore, Maryland, State Department, 21202, Brother Dominic. 02 is the zip. Once again, Christine Nattil, Community Marketing Outreach Officer, Department of Housing and Community Development, Land Resources, 417 East Fayette Street, 10th floor, Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, State Department, 21202. Her number is 443-984-1982. For those that are versed in real estate, Mother Tanya, so I figured that would be something that you guys could go into deeper, and making sure to see if you guys are even interested in having that something that we would like to have. Beloved Troy, yes.
Point of interjection.
Islam.
The goal for this right now, because I mean, in my mind, I know that we don't want 1,000 people calling this or communicating with this person. We want to be on the same page on what we want to accomplish and then establish a point of contact. And I'm saying, in my mind, I'm saying, is that point of contact you? I'm lost right now because you giving information, which is great, got the email, and it's like, who's called? Are we doing something collectively as a group to say, hey, you want this facility? Then what are we doing? Or are you just saying, hey guys, this is available to anybody that needs it, and when you need it, just everybody calling their own. I'm just.
Well, I was looking at Maj leases, and please correct me all if I'm wrong. This is like a potluck for our social activities. So
I see.
So I'm just bringing a few ingredients, or I have the starch.
I see what
you
you're
guys brought the vegetables. However, there's some starch conversion experts out there. Then hey, maybe I can give that to you, and I just brought what you could prepare and make it maybe a little better. And that's the only reason why I'm bringing the information, because I'm not an island, and I know that.
So okay, I was confused. I thought we were trying to acquire a building, but what you're doing, you're saying, hey guys, for any activities, everybody, let's go this route. My bad.
The first one was just in case if they wanted to be, because it was in lieu of the Astrology 101 workshop follow-up. If anybody wanted that, it could be at least 30 people per the fire marshal requirement. 30 people, and it was one note 67 cents.
Got it.
That's one issue. The second thing is if for in lieu of the building, okay, for school or whatever else, because it's a huge building. It could be Temple and School, but it's not necessarily a second floor structure, even though it's on the second level of where the actual out of construction is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be an opportunity for those that's because this is how I was looking at it. The surplus schools are under the housing, as it says here. Okay, it's Department of Housing and Community Development. So just that alone, and it says the land resources.
Yes.
So just that alone, I figured, okay, at least I got the point of contact. So when I bring it here, since there's committees set up and people that have delegated authority to handle this specific issue, I was just bringing the ingredients so that it can be allocated properly for those that are taking on that delegated authority for this particular jurisdiction.
It's a resource. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't clear. I'm clear.
No, it's fine. Is any other questions?
Interjection?
Yes, Islam.
Take this in, and share this with everyone. Federal and domestic grants and assistance. Federal and domestic grants and assistance. And do research on the entry qualification page, and this is where they're obligated to put finance aside for us to do this, because they're supposed to be helping you. Matter of fact, you're supposed to even give finance for your staff to get this stuff done.
Yes.
And that's information that I'd given to Scara and Valera and them years ago that they have used.
Oh.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm telling you all.
I got you.
And so that, again, and because we got all these sisters that are really doing stuff good, that yes, we can do fundraisers, but understand they're required to put billions of dollars a year aside anyway that belongs to us from our estate, so that when we decide to do these things, they're supposed to be granted to us. That is their obligation.
Islam, Taj, please, let me, because I'm in my concept now, so
Go ahead.
beat me up later. Do we do this like, because I can go at them, I write a writ, demanding this as me, or do we do this under council?
Organization, not council court, that's organization. Sisters, doing what they already do all the time.
Okay.
What we need is for our people to get cognizant, stop going into the improper jurisdiction, and start enforcing the jurisdiction that exists that they've been covering up, both the Europeans and our side. That's what I'm saying. The consular court issue is to get Moors active on the diversity issue that they have a tendency not to do, and keep thinking that it's alien to what they're supposed to be doing, and that's what was undermined in order to steal your virtues. The consular court issue is broader than the court itself, because it deals with properties and controversies, both civic and criminal, and deals with both criminal activity and properties. All of our things should be going through a consular venue. Since, and I don't want to, beat a dead horse, persons who were put in power to make law and enforce law, if it's known by all the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I don't have to tell you about the breaches. You already know about the breaches.
Yep.
But it is the duty and responsibility of Moorish Americans, since they did not enforce caveat emptor, that's their choice to have not done. However, Moors who are conscious, who want to start activating, the things are there, you just need to be made aware of them.
Islam.
That's all. And so, and keep this in mind, in relationship to the consular principle, and I don't take too much time on the floor, this is why I presented in the first place. They need to understand the consular court issue is not dealing with the court concept that people have. It is our entire relationship with them, how we're to be relating to them.
Islam.
And see, people keep thinking of court process. The concept is incorrect.
Okay.
It's our entire relationship with them is a consular venue.
Yes.
And since persons, and like I said, I don't want to keep a dead horse. Since persons claim to be grand sheikhs and sheikhs of the Moorish movement have breached their trust, I'm not busy arguing with them. That's why I established a roundtable, not in their jurisdiction.
Right.
I'm not arguing with them, do what they do. Cool. Just don't interfere with us.
Got it.
If you get the point, and don't try to misrepresent the movement and act like we're not part of the Moorish movement. Just because they're not enforcing the Moorish movement and doing things in name only.
Islam.
They're colored. They need to be recognized for that, but I ain't arguing with them.
Okay.
But this is the whole point. Under federal domestic grants and assistance, there's funds that's put aside for Aboriginal and Indigenous people. Like you all want to do schools and stuff like that, and within the school we need, care for the babies and stuff. You don't have to send these babies to no babysitters. You can have everything in one of those schools. You can get the daggone school. You can do a lot of stuff. Our biggest problem is getting Moors honorable who stop trying to own the birthright.
Islam.
And stop trying to tell people, if you don't get my card or this card, you can't be a Moor. All that kind of mentality. That's the sellout.
Okay.
That's the sellout.
I got a question too.
You have intelligent women and men, like the prophet said, with more genius people that have arrived on the scene. What we want to do is give them as many tools as we can share with them. Because they already have the intelligence for research, they've proven themselves. Just make it available to them. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm saying is, initiate things just like you always do. This is what we must do. Don't fall for the temptations of us fighting with each other, which they'll always interject. Because remember, there is no silence. While we're talking, it's recorded. So let's not even think other than that. And so they're all already going to do psychic attacks to divide us from each other so we don't get anything done. Knowing that that takes place, just don't feed into it.
Okay.
Stay focused on principle. Stay focused on principle. Understand, this is not an application in the sense of application, although they may have systems that they call application. These are obligations that are to be met by them. It is not coming from them, it's coming from your estate. Are we clear? So you ain't gotta kiss ass. Don't let them make you feel that way. Hold them to their obligations.
Islam.
However, have our people competent when we do these things. That's all.
That's what's up. I
And
know.
that would be, so
Islam.
instead of one individual keep trying to reinvent. the
Never
wheel,
as a
it's doing-
single unit.
It's doing as a
Remember.
trust.
This is why it's important to nationalize. Because their obligations to the nation. They're obligated not to abuse the single unit's rights, or what they call individual, though you use another word. The deal of it is their obligations to the nation. Our problem is that collectively, we have been saying the word nationality while not acting national. That's no problem, we can teach that. That's why certain things must be done redundantly. Our concepts are incorrect. And this is one of the corruptions that has occurred with this movement, is they've been putting emphasis on that 1-year affidavit of 1928 and having people play reverse church with this movement, and the civic nature of this movement and the restoration of the estate has gone totally neglected. That's where our problem is. And we're now suffering the Negro Acts. Conscious Moors and all of our people, and the Europeans been accelerating because he sees he's being moved out the way. Now, as a reminder to you all, the nations of the earth are dumping those Tia bonds. It's clear that these Moors are compromised. So the nations are doing it. Recognize what's happening. And so we don't want to be behind the curve of history.
Right.
Because those who have betrayed the prophet, not only betrayed the prophet, betrayed us and have betrayed the rest of the world, they're going to have to answer for that. We got to make sure that they don't assume that we're amongst them. That's all. It doesn't mean that we close no gates to them. We don't close gates to them. But they've been feeling secure for these last few decades, thought that they was going to get away with what they did to this prophet. They're not going to get away with that. And some of them may be physically hanging from poles. You ain't seen the stuff yet. You know, those who know are starting to feel uncomfortable. That's why they're a little bit uncomfortable.
And they getting out of the
But
country. Out of the territory.
we don't need to go there. We need to focus on what we need to do.
Exactly.
Islam.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
But I'm telling you, don't think that you're applying in the sense of application. They are obligated with non-burdenous grants. You sisters come together, you set a school for these children. And one of the things that has to be clear, you start looking at the entry page, qualifications. See, your status is very important. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And so you come, you're the people of the land. They're already obligated. Finances put aside all the time. When you look around in Baltimore and areas, and you see these projects where they have these houses, and Reverend so-and-so project, that's where they've been getting them funds. They've been going as representatives of these people under that corporate issue. That's where they've been getting them funds. And Reverend so-and-so, and they got this project housing. That's where that funds has been coming from. When it's supposed to be going to the people. And he getting credit for it like he came from the Lord. No, he's part of the corporate issue. You know, but if we can get these Moors just to be honorable and stop trying to own the birthright and do what they're supposed to do, it's really there. The prophet said, again, I'm going to yield the floor. He said, I'm going to keep this European here long enough to teach you government. And that ain't salami baloney. You better believe that ain't salami baloney. Thank you. He says these Moors gonna come in this movement with their eyes wide open. Thank you very much. 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 That's what's gonna solve this problem. I yield the floor.
Islam. Any more questions, or you finished with you?
I'm almost done. I'm at part 3.
All right.
Any more
All right, any
questions?
peanut butter sandwiches left?
No. There's some grapes over there, baby.
Ready?
I did not.
All right, before we get started, Brother Dominic, yes, you're exactly right. When it comes to grants, it's very easy to find it. There are people that run poetry programs for children, and all they do all day is just write grants. I mean, literally, like I literally saw this dude just sit here and just write up, like in 1 week, he was like, man, I need the 7,000, and in 5 days, once he just finished the grant, and it's just like a 1 or 2 page, written to just say what your intentions are, and these people just give it to you. Like seriously, like it's really that simple. Like it really, and it's free information. You can literally type in what Brother Todd said. I mean, I got it here on my computer, so it really is that simple. However, now I come to my third part. The third email that you guys received on the 20th of May, it deals with accounting. Because in my, it's been 5 years, but I've taken the last 4 years treating, being reminded about my nationality and birthrights like a 4-year institution. So I've realized in learning civics, law, history, astrology, cosmology, I'm also looking at, when you do look in banking, I'm looking at the root because I'm so watery, and I'm looking at the lowest level, and everything boils down to accounting. Like everything, like it really. Okay, I'm going to give you briefly this email. Alrighty, it says. This fourth, and it's really a third for now, because you guys saw that was a string of information in that email that I sent you. But the third and final correspondence in this parallel chain, instead of series, that was an electricity joke for those that got it to do. Okay, anyway, for the third and final correspondence in this parallel chain of electronic mail pertains to considering accounting 101 basics, just considering, right? However, after viewing via Facebook Live, YouTube, DVDs, and also I have Accounting for Dummies, 9 books in 1. The 9th book, when you guys learn about the SEC and Sarbanes-Oxley things, oh my goodness, you guys are going to really see what Brother Taj and a lot of people have really been talking about these last 3 years, and it's really simple. Okay, thank you, beloved. Alrighty, and being in attendance at House of Reawakening Minds, observing, especially, and as well as Brother Committee Day's presentation pertaining to practical accounting auditing practices. I and Brother Amataj Ben Bey have been, who's not here with us today, but he's out near the Lansing Corporation, Michigan State Republic, but he sends his regards. We have been consistently reviewing Accounting for Dummies, 9 books in 1. Book 9 is full of auditing jewels. So this is the email that I'm reading, guys, that you have. Accounting 101 videos and Accounting for Beginner videos. I trust that you all are to find the joy and calmness with divine and national comprehension that I found, find an experience when reviewing the aforementioned materials in support of our divine and national movement for concept correction purposes only, in order to achieve, meet, and perpetuate unity. Alrighty, so below is a list reference pertaining to Accounting 101 video. So it's 3 links. You guys have that in your email. And you can forward it to those whom emails I do not have. So that everyone within your jurisdiction or within that's all close knit, you guys meeting up on your Wednesdays or whenever, you guys at least will have the same privy council information pertaining to here at your hands. Okay? Now, Islam. So what I wanted to go over briefly, and then I'll yield the floor, and I'll completely yield the floor. I wanted to just say this just to motivate you. Okay? When I say accounting is simple, it's 4, this is how they break it down in the videos, alright? It's 4 things you're doing, and you're doing it now.
Yes.
You've been doing it. You've been practicing trust since you've had a baby and said that's going to be the godfather and godmother. That's trust principle. You're granting these people to be trustees over the beneficiary. So, with that being said, 4 parts in accounting. You have 4 what they call types of accounting. First part is bookkeeping. Let me gather all this information. That's what we're doing now. This is a bookkeeping meeting. And in your constitution, you're supposed to keep a journal. That's why we have minutes. Okay? The second level is called financial accounting, where financial accounting is, hey, I got cell phones for 5 notes. I'm going to push 100 cell phones at 5 notes and make 500 notes. If anybody would like to partner and or lend, come on, so I can make more than just 500 notes, and I'll make sure you get your recoupment back on your investment. That's the financial accounting. The third level is called managerial accounting. Managerial accounting is what does not go out to the public.
Okay.
It's what you do to meet. What you do to meet your financial accounting statements. In other words, you saying Constitution, we're saying Majlis. In accounting, after bookkeeping, that's your convention, is your bookkeeping. That's your convention. Now correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
The second level financial accounting is legislation.
It's structured government.
The second part is called executive, managerial accounting. Okay, I said I'm gonna put out 500 cell phones, and what they don't know is I ain't really settled the deal yet with my drop shipping company. So what I got to do now is I sold the wolf ticket. Now I gotta meet it. I gotta make sure my butt follows my mouth. Bookkeeping is the first one. The second one is financial accounting. You're putting the message out. That's legislation. The third one is managerial accounting. That's you doing all the inner workings to meet what you said. This is a constitution that in these 7 articles, these corporations that's made up these board of people can't do this. And this is the 10 Bill of Rights that's owed to the people. However, since there's that legislation there, how are we going to carry it out? That's your managerial accounting. Now, last level is what they call, what I like to call judicial. This is your judicial, but they call it income tax accounting. And that's to see if what you gathered, what you said, and what you find, and what you did to make it come about, is it on the scale of my now?
And harmonizes with the charter.
Period. Now, if you decide to do the IRS thing, then you're dealing with the IRS jurisdiction of balancing your books. However, if we take that concept that I just shared, then we can actually see this, and because you was talking about as far as the religious affidavits, so people talking about trust and stuff like that, that was
Very simple.
idea.
Right? Corporate name. That's not religion, that's civics.
Yes.
This is an affidavit that represents law, order, and governmental principles under HERS law. It ain't got nothing to do with salami bologna. Fact, and you're Florida, that's it.
So the last thing I wanted to say, since Brother Taj brought that and now yield the floor, anybody remember Power Rangers? It came out when I was about 8 years old. Like 1992.
Everybody know Power Rangers.
Okay.
They trying to act like they wasn't looking at it.
No, I'm serious. I'm being serious, and then I'll yield the floor.
They act like they wasn't looking at it.
Isaiah funny, yo. Okay.
Corner of the drawer that they pull out every once in a while.
So the Power Rangers are the 5 that's on the back of your 101. Think about it. Isn't it 5 on the back of that 101? 5 appellations, even though they're in all capital letters because they're doing business. But it's 5, right? Appellations, right? 6. Okay, there were 6 Power Rangers too.
Yeah.
However, they needed Megazord to fight off Rita Repulsa's enemies, right? That's Megazord. Because in order to, because Rita is de facto energy, and she's sending a nuisance on the people. But in order for you to deal with Rita's giant,
That's wrong. You got her here, John.
I'm here on the floor.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you.
Alrighty, Islam.
Go Power Rangers!
All right, we got three more issues on the floor here. The committee of, well, seats of office, because we need a committee, you know, so, because everybody's ad hoc except Brother Osiris, who became official today, so, you know, it was a majority here, you know, enough to, a quorum, you know, to elect him. But, you know, we need to get a committee for, with regard to seats of office, and, you know, we also need to study the rudder and the sexton, so that we can, you know, be in line with Majlis, all right? All right, so, need to get on that, all right? I guess I'll table that for, unless there's someone who wants to be the committee chair for that. For seats of office.
Seats of office, no, no.
No? Well, we'll table that?
We'll table it.
We'll table it, all right, table that. All right, then we have, records, funerals, ceremonies, birth, recordings, you know, that kind of thing, so, you know, I don't know if we did a committee with regard to that.
Yeah, we did. It was Brother Nagi and Mother Renee.
Yeah.
Oh,
For the Renee was gonna keep records.
oh,
And I
yeah,
have to actually work with them too to get the records. We're gonna post them online.
all right. All right, you want to finish, or you not?
No.
Yeah, and we need to, get together and bring the Moors together so they can, know fundamentals of janaza and, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And the chapters that they read from the Quran, et cetera, and the fundamental processes.
May I enter just one real quick? Brother Kelly, since you had mentioned the concepts dealing with consular relations, I just wanted to, you know, you guys can go over it on your own. Lesson book 14, pages 8 and 9, in tandem with chapter 12 of the Circle 701. I yield the floor.
And on that note, just want to say, I need the access to the web, so I can do the web here, so we can demonstrate the website that already is. What's the password? Sorry, you know what?
Say it again?
The password for the
House of Ram?
House of Ram.
HORAM 602. All capital HORAM 602.
Also, I want to get together with you later. I'm busy and you're busy, but I want to get together with you later so I can give you all the basic stuff that I have for you to put on the website.
602.
You know, and all of those things that are universal to the round table. You know, I'm going to write you a delegation of authority so nobody won't challenge it. You know what I mean? For the stuff to go on the website, and we'll build up the website so that people can use it. Because you're already doing it, but a lot of other information that's elsewhere is my information.
Islam.
And that you put it on that website and build that website so that the people won't be held hostage.
Islam.
All right.
Islam.
So we did, I mean, funerals and you know, ceremonies, I guess we didn't have any work for that.
Yeah, that's what we call janaza.
Yeah, janaza, so we
Yes.
gonna table that for right now, since we don't have
Yeah,
any.
you need to have a meeting on that. Some of these things you need to really have a cultural workshop on.
All right, cultural workshop on
Yeah,
that.
you know, those are general ongoing agendas.
All right, ongoing agenda, all right. All right, so I think the last thing is, sick and shut in. I think that, yeah, sick and shut in. I had Brother Manuel, in, North Carolina. He had been working on some things, and I thought I brought the paperwork, but apparently I left it at home, you know, with regard to his comments, you know, about, the sick and shut in, what he was going to be working on, because, you know, that's part of our missionary work too, you know, to deal with the sick and shut in.
Islam. set up a page for Moorish directory.
More directed.
Yes.
I have a,
Because I know
We're
we
gonna
talked
guide,
about
we're gonna
this-
show,
we
we're gonna
talked
show
about
you
that before.
something.
do you want specific directory just for that, or you, cause I
No,
have a.
this is
tab.
in general,
Okay.
to make the website, comprehensible and comprehensive.
And easily navigatable.
Yes.
Gotta come your way if I can just.
And this is, you have Moors from the Moorish Science Temple of America, from Great Seal, from any Moorish organization, and also in the general community, in a secondary column, for the skills and stuff, and the things that we need, that it can be quickly referenced. You know what I mean? As thorough as possible. And then also, you can fairly solicit for compensation for the support of the website, donations from people who would put ads or advertisement into the venue. All right?
And I know Mother Renee's not here, but I actually gotta get with her, cause she already has a director, and Dominic has been working on a directory too of businesses that, Moorish owned, so. and
Yeah.
For the community too, so.
And I'd like to add, Brother Nagi,
Oh,
Fez Regents,
That's
Fez
right.
Province Regency also, has a directory for, some, of this information and things like that, all right? So,
Yes.
Fez,
And we're gonna do that on all fronts.
yeah, Fez Regency, Fez Province, yeah, Fez Province Regency.org. So that, we got a broad base, we're networking and creating this web that, needs to be created, all right?
Sounds like we're acting like a nation or something.
Oh, and ActiveMoors.com, all right, there's another one called ActiveMoors.com.
Starting that nation stuff.
Yeah, that's that national, who's nationalizing here? Who's nationalizing the nation here? All the utilities, all resources, all this stuff, all right? So, all right, so that concludes all the committee reports. I know it says other committees, but still we gotta table that, because I don't want this to go too long, because we do have to catch trains, buses, planes, and all that other kind of stuff.
And automobiles.
And automobiles too, all right. All right, so, Brother Troy, you had one general question of Brother Taj?
Isaiah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I guess we have time, but, so for the positions for the law and civics, we said we're gonna go back, we're gonna have to do another, class for that?
The law and civics?
Okay, I just wanted to get that in
So the law and civics, so make it clear.
Yeah, so like for the law and civics, like for example, like with the consuls, and the generals and the magistrates, judges,
All right.
vice consuls,
Right,
getting those set up,
all right,
we will have to, of course, elect on those. And,
yeah,
so we're gonna do that for another type of time.
yeah. But then still we need someone to chair that committee, so that we can,
That's right.
we still need to have somebody to look at it and find out, because, one of the issues was, Moore's taking the consular court questions, are you ready to prepare to be jurors, juror consults, I know the whole point was to find out, our trinities, everybody's trinity, where you might best fit in, if you might be a qazi or a vazir or a mufti, where we can best fit you into the government, because we're gonna make this work. This time has come. I see all the dust, all the flotsam and jetsam all over the place, and the bullets shoot. They're done. At least 2,700 of their CEOs have quit, been fired,
Literally.
retired, or killed, or what they call
Suicide.
Suicide.
Suicide assistance.
Yeah, how do you commit suicide with a scarf on a doorknob? I don't know how you commit suicide with a scarf on a doorknob. That, I don't know what that is.
Sitting in the park,
It's
shot
a
5 times in the back of the
because
head.
common sense tells you that he had help.
Yes, of course. But I'm just saying that this is so rapidly happening around us. We need to, keep it rolling, Moors, keep it rolling, Moabites. We got to get this stuff in action so we can take our places amongst the affairs of what?
Men
Man.
and women.
Therefore, Moorish
And
National
women.
Association of Moorish Affairs.
Yes.
I would like to, make a time that the Amorian tribe is extremely excited about the work that Isaiah L. has done. He's got the website. It is a good time to, you know, when we get a time to take a quick look at it and kind of comment on its ease of navigatability and how it's set up, old school press.
I would like, this is what I would like to do too, and you know, we'll be prepared in the future, put the projector up and take a class
Oh.
on projector up here.
Oh, yes, yes.
How-
Yeah,
We'll
cause
take-
it's
we'll-
still, cause I literally just, we just literally got it back up, and we're rearranging things. And, it's gonna be, this is just the beginning, so,
All right, so that's new business then, all right? We'll do a PowerPoint on
Yes.
okay,
what is the
Yes.
website?
right.
All right, so that's new business. And I apologize, I didn't follow protocol because we were supposed to read the minutes, but I apologize. I'm going to let, you know,
Yeah.
I'm growing, you know, and I'm filling in this position, you know, for right now, you know,
A
until
projection,
I
Islam,
Islam.
projection. I'm gonna talk to Dr. Naila, and what I wanna do, because I mentioned it, but I'll get to the details. Set up one of the Fridays, you know, you come in and you do the class about the newspaper and some of the
Ooh,
fundamental
yes.
points,
Yes.
concentrated, concentrated,
Islam.
all right?
All in
So
favor?
we'll talk.
All opposed?
Favorable for everything.
Nah, well, you gotta give us a date with Friday. That's your job, to tell us
Yeah,
what Friday
I'll
you're
get
planning on
you
doing that, all right?
You know, because we gotta fix this thing, and the deal of it is, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need the energy, and for the sisters, you know, come together, and we'll set up something where y'all get together consciously, set up something. We'll do a Friday, and y'all do whatever you feel is necessary.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Like for
about.
real, you know, we don't need these secondary meetings.
Right,
Not that we don't do these things, you know what I mean,
Right.
but it needs to be to the public,
right, all right.
you know what I mean?
Islam. Islam.
There's one last thing, the frequency of our meetings, can we start adding conference calls, like maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much that we need to.
But see, like, you know, can you do the conference calls, find us a number and we can
Yeah,
do
I
it
have
like
it set
that?
up already.
You got it set up
Yep,
already?
I got the free conference call already set up,
All right.
and we can all call in on there, I got the numbers,
All right.
everything.
You wanna give it the numbers out now?
Yeah, so let me.
Yeah, email, you know, email everybody.
Or if you got the email,
And
that's
message,
exactly
yeah,
what it
Yeah,
is.
message
all right,
all the
let's-
conference
yeah,
calls. Do a
all right.
statement with the conference calls, numbers.
So everybody, you know, we have everybody else has everybody's number or an email address so that we make sure that, you know, this stuff is, you know, sent. I do have a sign-in sheet, so, you know, I do have a sign-in sheet, all right, so, I trust everyone has signed in, all
I'm
right?
signing,
I have to sign in too. I have to sign
I was
in.
working.
Yeah. All right, so, with that, so any other,
So I don't know if I should do this during the meeting or afterwards, because it'll probably take up some time, but I wanted to put something on the floor
all right,
and be as transparent as I can.
all right,
But I know we want to close out first. I don't want to feel like anybody has to be hostage, but I do have to express this thing.
all right.
So how did you want me to do it?
How long is it gonna take?
That's a good question. It depends. Okay, it may maybe 15 minutes, I guess.
All right, we can close in
Okay, right.
15 minutes, all
Okay,
right? Because,
sounds
you know,
good.
we gotta do, oh, it says, you know, it says, all meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right.
You know, so,
Yeah, circle seven.
and Circle 7. No, yes, all meetings will be open and closed according to Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day, and et cetera. But anyway, I want to be on time. I don't want to drag people, you know, keep them longer than what, you know, their attention span is. But we've been, you know, we got a lot done. I do believe, I trust that people have gotten something here that, you know, that we are doing governmental principles. I'm trusting that we understand we're taking our places amongst the affairs of men. Islam, with that, meeting adjourned. All rise.
Islam,
Face to east.
Islam,
Islam.
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 Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Through Ali.
Ameen.
Islam.
Brother Dominic.
Fuck.